I'm sorry we're late, but my mama's a winner. Everybody clap for Jinkx Monsoon. She had to do the walk of the winners, as it's called.
It's called the Winner's Walk, you idiot.
Should we start with how we met and how we came into each other's lives?
We're going to have to cut through the pretense and break the fourth wall for a moment here. But so he's not actually my biological son.
What?
I don't know if anyone could
Who's my
attain
mother?
that from... his real mother is a very sweet lady in the burbs. No, we met when we were like 19 years old at a Dresden Dolls concert. And I was doing this like pre-show act on the street for loose change.
She was literally on the street corner dancing for money. That's how we met.
And I was wearing such thick makeup and such a crazy costume that he didn't know I was a drag queen.
I didn't know.
And
it was pre-Drag Race. Do you know what her makeup looked like back then? I was dumb. I was blind.
And then throughout the years, somehow we developed this idea that he's my biological son, and we just went with it. And our favorite game to play out at the bar when I'm in drag and he looks like a little shithead. We find like someone who's pretty drunk and try to actually convince them that I'm his biological mother who's 20 years older than him. And they oftentimes fall for it. They just want to believe in something.
They're like Mulder. They want to believe. So we actually just moved into a home together. We've been friends for like 12 years. We've never been roommates.
Thank God. And
we just moved to San Francisco, though. Do you like it? Do you like? I like it. Do you like being there, Mom?
I like it a lot. We live by the beach.
You haven't been to the beach yet.
I don't. That's
it's 6
not
blocks
the point.
away. She hasn't left the house yet.
That's not the point. The point is that I get to sing By the Sea from Sweeney Todd every morning when I wake up.
There's no excuse not to. Yeah. It's also been fun because we've been getting to do more live shows together. We just did a run of the Ginger Snapped at the Dynasty Typewriter.
The Dynasty Typewriter, the most antiquated sounding theater name.
It's called Dynasty Typewriter or Miss Typewriter if you're Dynasty. Take that home with you. Everyone's mad at that one.
Did you hear that like half-hearted chuckle you
It was
got?
a chuckle into a groan.
Do you feel like that was worth it? That taking up
You know
time
what?
in this panel to
I've been
tell
a stand-up
that joke?
comedian pretty long. I'm used to people just groaning at everything I say.
That should be a sign. My mask goes on with magnets.
Whoa. You didn't know you were going to learn about science at DragCon.
I just wanted to change the subject.
So we became mother and son like just naturally through our friendship throughout the years, but how did the show itself sort of manifest? Because we had done stuff together on film as mom and son before.
Well, he just like, you know, he wanted to make his own little TV show about us.
Well, I came down and when she was still living in Portland and I was in Seattle during the summer, I would come down and I would visit the drag house, and it was so inspiring. I was like, this should be a show. And it was before the Kardashians and whatever, so I was like, well, we should obviously do a sitcom.
He was really ahead of the time, you see. But it was also like fictional, you know. It was about our drag family all living in one house and just getting into crazy adventures. And it was really stupid because we didn't script it or rehearse it, and a lot of our friends aren't good under pressure in front of the camera. So it was mostly us just like trying to coax them into having a human conversation with us. And
well,
then,
I was into Curb Your Enthusiasm, but then I forgot that drag queens can't improv.
Then we had shut up. Then we had the brilliant idea to start scripting it, and oh, what a change that made! Because
yeah, the ones Monsoon season, the ones that are up now are
Funny or
pretty
Die.
fun. Yeah.
Latrice tells a joke in the Haters Roast. She goes, "Jinkx is on Funny or Die," which is false advertisement because she's not funny and she's still alive.
It's pretty
I
good.
like that one. Yeah,
that's pretty good. But then we decided to sort of take these characters and turn it into more of a Wow Presents type format.
Yeah, because we want to get that Viceland money.
I want a Viceland show so bad.
Do you guys watch Slut Ever?
Oh, Slut Ever!
That's such a good show.
Can you be on Slut Ever? Are you into anything weird? I mean, I know, but anything you want to tell people about?
I've already signed an NDA about it. I can't talk about it. A non-disclosure agreement.
We know what an NDA
in the biz.
is. We know.
I'm in the biz.
And I'm really excited for season 3 because we're starting to get a little more meta with it. It's like a meta season. Do you want to drop any hints about season 3 of Cool Mom debuting soon on Wow Presents Plus?
Well, we have a special guest for the first time ever, and it's Devin Green. And she's always been, I've lip synced to her spoken word YouTube videos for years. So she makes a little cameo, and we're really excited for how we worked her into it. Basically, call me.
Don't tell them. It's a surprise. You can't tell them.
You really killed the mood just now. I was like working them up.
You can't tell them. It's a surprise how it happens.
Aliens.
But I think that definitely going forward, we want to have like fun with the format and start being more like self-aware and meta. We want to have like
fun with the format. We're gonna kind of like regroup, retool. We're gonna see how the target audience tests. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm in charge of a focus group. That's my day job. I run focus groups. I had to take a shower today. I don't do it every day, but I had to do it today because I have a panel. And she was still in there, and we knew you had to be at the Winner's Walk. And
I was doing my makeup up into the last possible moment.
Well, I was told to wake up by our dear friend and roommate and Jinkx's personal assistant. And he was like, hey, you need to get up. And I did get up, and then there was no option to have a shower. So I just had to shower with her still doing her makeup and watching The Office like so loud. Like, how are you 45 minutes late for DragCon and also watching season 8 of The Office? How does that happen?
You didn't need to go spill my office tea.
Oh, it's already on Instagram, babe. It's already on Instagram.
I love that show. It's just so. Oh.
I will say, Steve Carell's already gone, but you're in the Catherine Tate episodes right now, and that's pretty fun.
Oh. I'm at that point where there's a new manager every week. It's chaos in the office. Pam had her second kid. Angela had her baby. It could be Dwight's.
Wait, you don't know?
I don't. I feel like I'm watching it again for the first time.
Well, that's the wonders of being a cool mom who smokes a lot of weed. All TV is just new every time you see it. All right, we burned through all our talking points so fast.
That was it.
We planned.
Well, then we could just jump right into asking questions from the audience.
Can we do audience questions? I would love to do, if anyone has any audience questions. I will say we have a caveat. Anyone who wants to ask a question to Jinkx and I guess me, you can tell us like a topic that you want to see tackled on Cool Mom in the future. Oh, yeah. And our favorite one, we'll just do an episode about it for season 4, and we'll give you a shout out on the episode.
It's our gift to you.
Hi, Jinkx. My question is, we met last year at one of the after parties. May I have a hug again this year?
That's the whole question?
Sure, but let's just get it out of the way now because I don't know if I'll ever make it to one of those after parties ever again. I'm a much older woman, darling, than I was last year.
Aww. All right, that is the one hug-based question. Don't get any ideas.
You.
Thank you. We love you.
Hey, Jinxie.
Oh, hey again. Hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay.
You look glamorous.
So, I think that an episode based on The Office would be fabulous. And then my question is, Jinkx, have you seen Star Wars yet? Why or why not?
No, it's still not a single Star Wars.
Thank you so much for the question.
Yeah.
I think that maybe the people at home maybe remember the Star Wars episode, and Jinkx has never seen one of the Star Wars movies, not a single one.
But yet I know the entire plot of every movie. And we did a trivia game, and I answered like 90% of it right, never having seen a movie. That's how much it is forced upon me in this society, people.
You've watched all those Family Guy specials so many times. Don't act like that's not why.
It's not just Family Guys, it's years and years.
Spaceballs? Spaceballs.
I haven't even seen that, but I bet I know the plot of that one, too.
Tell me.
Like the same thing, but stupid.
So I think, yes, a deep dive a la our Star Wars episode Into the Office might be good.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling.
We might actually do that episode.
So one thing that I find I like to do as a one from cool mom to another, I like to categorize my friends into their Harry Potter houses. Do you? And also I find a separation where people don't like Harry Potter anymore. It's very nerdy now, so I constantly find myself drilling Harry Potter information into people. Do you think it'd be possible to annoy your son with your Harry Potter knowledge? / what house are you in?
Great question. Thank you.
We've watched every Harry
We
Potter
watched
movie
them all.
together.
We still like it. Who doesn't like it?
Is that a thing? People are turning their back on
They're
Harry?
jerks. Harry Potter's still cool. We like Harry Potter. I took a... Did you do a Pottermore? Did you ever do it?
No, I never did the...
Pottermore, what do you think you'd be in?
Oh, I know I'd be in Hufflepuff. That's obvious.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
These are the issues, people. Thank you for bringing your questions to this town hall meeting.
It's hard for me because I was self-identified as Ravenclaw for like a decade, and I finally took the Pottermore test, and I got Slytherin. Okay, there's some cool people in Slytherin. I'm down.
I am not surprised.
I'm not evil. I'm just fame hungry.
I'm just drawn that way.
Okay, so this is kind of a serious question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to the claims that you are in fact a swamp witch?
Oh, swamp witch. We got to address these rumors, Mom. She's...
Avada Kedavra! So inappropriate. I should have done stupefy, but that doesn't have the same like.
It's not scary. You just fall down for a while, right?
I always say Expelliarmus wrong. Yeah, no, I'm clearly not a swamp witch, people. I'm a good witch, okay? Like, it's very obvious that I'm like a chaotic neutral. And no, I think she just refers to what I look like out of drag, which, yes, is very swampy. Well, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
And thank you, Trixie, for putting that out into the universe.
Hi.
Hi.
So you got to voice a character on Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Wondering what that was like, and then also what other cartoon would you like to voice a character on?
Oh, well, you just did a new voice, right?
Yeah, I just did. I just appeared in an episode of Mighty Magiswords as a hair monster.
What's her name? Hermosa?
Hermosa. The episode was really cute. And I did another one. I don't know if
We can't talk about that
yeah,
one.
anyway. But
But that one's cool, too. Wait for that one in, I don't know, a billion years. It takes them a long time to draw it.
It does take a long time for animation to be done. But I met a writer yesterday for Rick and Morty. And I told her, just, I don't know who you can talk to, but like pass the word around. I've already done 3 cartoons. I'm like, I'm climbing up there, like I'm waiting for that shot. So that would be a dream, is to do a character on Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
Hi. So
Hi.
my question is for both of you. I'm from a really small country town in Northern California where people are really only used to knowing about cisgender, heteronormative gender identities. And I feel like when I tell them to educate themselves, people get offended. So what's a polite way of telling someone, if they're saying something ignorant, or how to educate them about gender identity?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's not a fun one, I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
But it's important.
It is.
I have been faced with it here and there, and I feel like I just try to come at the situation with as much compassion and empathy as possible, because I know that, people tend to shut off if they're feeling attacked, and I don't want them to think that I'm attacking them. I'm just trying to help them be a better person. So I really try to be as passive as possible while I'm just like, actually that's not the way I feel about that, and here's why a lot of people feel this way and why it doesn't really affect you, and just try to explain how it's not a big deal. The more we can kind of de-escalate this idea that it's this big attack on values.
Yeah, there's a way to inform without being hostile. I think that's the way to go. And I think that you, as a person in that small town who's a little more enlightened on these particular subjects, it's a big burden, but you get to be sort of one of the beacons in that community for like, hey, those who want the knowledge, they can find it from you. And I think it's hard because you have to do so much of the work, but thank you for doing it. I think it's really important.
Thank you so much.
Great question. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, darling.
Hi.
I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much for your art. It gives permission to midlife mothers to dress up. So thank you. Okay, so my question is about your narcolepsy that was mentioned during Drag Race, but it's not mentioned at all during Drag Becomes Him. So I'm just...
It didn't
want
make
to
the
know a
cut.
little bit about how you manage that. Do you really have narcolepsy, or were you just really stoned?
Really stoned. No, there was a lot of aspects to Drag Becomes Him as we were filming that just kind of got cut out. They wanted to follow one storyline really, really directly. I do have narcolepsy. I was diagnosed with it in high school and then did a sleep study my freshman year of college. And then what I found is the symptoms are a lot easier to manage now that I'm not going to college, working in the morning and rehearsing every night, I just try to live a healthier lifestyle now that I don't have to push myself, every hour of every day.
I actually kind of miss when you used to like really just conk out in the middle of the day, because it was fun to wake you up and scare you.
I was very easily startled, and
She would fall asleep sitting up in the backseat of my car, and I wouldn't realize until we parked, and then I would turn around and yell at her to wake up. It was fun.
I fell asleep in a bowl of chips once.
Well, I do have to tell you that I reference you to my children when they're not powering through. I always tell them, if Jinkx Monsoon could do it with narcolepsy, damn it, you can do it.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's what I tell my friends when they're feeling behind. I'm like, Jinkx can do stuff. You could probably do it too. You've seen her.
Hi there.
Hello. So I saw you at Haters Roast.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you were,
I prematurely said thank you. Well, thank you
it
for
was so
coming.
great.
And now the compliment.
So I was at New York, and Aja broke the table, and I was just
Twice,
wondering-
both shows.
Is she a wrestler? What happened?
I just had to say it was so much fun. But also, my real question is, as a cool mom, is it ever too early for a adult beverage?
Oh, too early in the morning or too early in life? That's my question.
Well, not saying I always follow this rule, but the rule that I try to stick to is get the work done first, and then when all the work's done, then you can have a drink. There are certain special circumstances. DragCon, where a lady might imbibe a little earlier than she's accustomed to. But I guess that's how I would answer that question diplomatically.
Thank you.
These questions started so light and like, which Harry Potter house are you? And then it's like, what gives with the narcolepsy, bitch? How much do you really drink, Jinkx? It's like, and the lights are hitting me. I'm like, you guys, you gotta believe me, I'm innocent. Does that not feel that way to you at all?
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to say I love you so much, and you remind me a lot of Lucille Ball.
Uh-huh.
And I was just wondering, how you feel about her, and also I would love to see a Cool Mom episode based on, Lucille like divorcing Ricky or something with a song.
That's a really solid pitch. I love Lucy. We watch it together sometimes.
That would be so cute.
Yeah, I've always really liked old Hollywood, but specifically comedic actors in old Hollywood, like Madeline Kahn and Lucille Ball, and Bette Davis had her comedic moments. So I feel like I learned so much from that era of performance, and then I kind of combine it with what I've learned from modern day comedians like Sarah Silverman and Maria Bamford, and it becomes a melange. And Lucille Ball, I was supposed to talk about Lucille Ball. I feel like that's a comedy masterclass, and that's when I kind of watched I Love Lucy. I think I realized that clown work, like Commedia dell'arte, can get as sophisticated as network television.
Yeah, and do you remember the other day when we were singing Sweeney Todd and we turned it into being about I Love Lucy? Because at the end he's like, Lucy, you've got some splaining. So that's what we do with our spare time.
That's what powers us through our day. Hi,
Hello
darling.
there. One theme that I think that you could use for a show is jobs. Getting a job, keeping a job. What jobs have you had throughout your lives?
Thank you for the question. Well, when you first
like
moved to
that
Seattle,
question.
you worked at the Gap, right?
My after-school job from the age of 15 onward was drag. I worked at a nightclub. I worked at a couple bars lying about my age. Because when you're in drag back then, they wouldn't card you. They're like, oh, you're a drag queen, come on. And let's face it, I look 10 years older in drag than I am in real life. So that's just how I made chump change through high school. So I had never had a real job.
Okay, I know you want to pretend you didn't work at the Gap, but we're going to talk
And
about
I worked at the Gap.
I went to visit her at her Gap job
on summer and winter breaks.
One time I walked in there and she was running around in circles. Can you imagine being in a customer service situation and a 19-year-old Jinkx Monsoon out of drag is the one to help you out? Can you just looking overwhelmed, wheezing because she's she's got sweat dripping down her brow. How long did you work there?
And she had eyebrows then.
She had eyebrows then.
Hi, darling.
So that was my cool mom, and I just want to know, what are your guys' relationships with your cool moms?
Ooh. Thank you. Great question.
That's a loaded question.
I'll go first because my mom, she lives in the suburbs, and she's really nice. She's super supportive. She wants to be like Martha Stewart, pretty much. So she's always throwing the cool mom parties, basically. All of the women of a certain age in the suburbs, they all go to my mom's parties. I don't know. She seems I actually am not comfortable with how cool she is.
She also offers you a drink the moment you get into the door, and then again every 10 minutes for the rest of the day. Do you guys want a drink? I'm making White Russians. If anyone wants a drink.
I have this bottle of wine. It's open. Do you want some?
I do a better your mom than
I know. I don't hear what you hear. I do an impression of you doing an impression of my mom.
She just retired, so she starts every conversation with, back when I was working, but now I'm retired. Every sentence. But she's so sweet. I was vocal on the TV show about my kind of strained relationship with my mother. And since that aired, I had a lot of conflicting feelings about having talked about that on TV. But it actually, at the end of the day, it started a conversation between me and my mom, and we were able to get much better, and we're much better friends now because of that. And she's just a goofball. She's kind of a big goofball these days. She's in her
She's very funny.
mid-50s, and she's just I'll help you make dinner. I can do anything you need. Where are your plates? I'm in a cupboard. Okay. Where would the spoons be? In a drawer. At some point, why don't you just start walking around, acquainting yourself with the space? She would ask me where, but it's just set up like a house. It's just how kitchens work, where plates generally are. Hi there.
Did it hurt when Aquarius slapped you on the runway when she fell off?
No, It was more like being stunned than hurt. It was just when cameras are on you and you're trying to play it cool like they're not on you. Reality TV is so interesting because you're being filmed at all times, but you can't talk to the people who are filming you. They're just like specters, like floating around the room. They're like Dementors keeping you in Azkaban.
Well, her arms are so little. How much damage could she have done, really?
Okay, enough. So I was just so in the zone of like, you got this. You're dancing by the runway. You're up close. You're wearing bright pink. There's no way they can miss you. You know? And I'm just so in my head about that when her hand struck me, I was just shocked back into reality. But then she was very cute about it. She blew me a little kiss and was like. Then the next time she was doing it, I don't know if it made it into the final edit, but she pretends she's gonna slap me and then goes, "Oh, no." And I was very happy for the airtime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Jinkx. I
Hi.
love you so much. I was just wondering, who is your favorite queen for this season? Season 10. Who do you think might win?
Ooh. I think to be diplomatic, you should give a top 3.
Or
How about that?
Okay, top 3.
Well, I was really liking Blair St. Clair.
Oh, Blair, we love.
I would say probably like Monique, Monet, and Eureka are really standing out to me. Eureka, I just toured with her, so it's so much fun. I toured with her before the episode started really airing, and then so I have a friend I'm rooting for on this season because I'm not, I don't know most of the girls. I'm meeting them on the road these days. And I did tour with Aquaria, and she's a little sweetheart. Really enjoy watching her on that show. Her Melania Trump was pretty good.
That was amazing.
Who
saw
live for
Aquaria
Snatch
win in
Game.
Snatch Game? That was amazing. She snatched it. She snatched the Snatch Game.
Have you been sitting on that one all day or what? No
Thank you so
problem.
much.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for coming.
Come see us at the booth, please. We'll take pictures with you. We'll do stuff.
What? Oh, yeah, we'll take pictures and sell you things.
2143.
And I'll read your palm. No, I won't be doing that. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.